All right, hey everybody, this is the Afternoon Weather Update. Today, April 27th, we're looking at the risks for the South Dakota region. We're also going to go state by state. We're going to kind of give you a rundown. Some of the weather models are really struggling to show all that impact that is expected later today as well as tomorrow, but we'll do the best that we can with the information that we have. Just be weather aware for the next couple of days. You're going to have quite a big impact in much of the northern plains as well as the Midwest, the upper Midwest, that is. So just be aware of the weather. All right, so we do have Sunday today. We have that slight risk. This was updated at 11:30 a.m. This is for areas of Kansas, and let's go to areas of South Dakota for our risks. Actually, we'll stay in Kansas here. So today we do have that risk of tornado activity that is over by western part of Kansas. Expect that to ramp up real late this afternoon. We'll show you some of the information from the radar Omega. And here's the wind threat. Again, this timing is going to be late in the afternoon, maybe towards after 6 p.m. And the hail risk, that increases late as well. And then for Kansas, day two, tomorrow's risk, April 28th. This was updated a little over an hour ago. Excuse me. And that covers Kansas City is in the enhanced or 3 out of 5 risk. Topeka and further southwest is in the slight risk. We do have that tornado risk as well for Monday for Kansas. And then the wind threat, again, that is mainly the Kansas, Olathe, and Coffeyville area as far as Kansas goes. Severe hail expected in that hatched area as well. Let's take a look at Nebraska for today. Nebraska, western part of Nebraska, again, we could have those storms likely after 6 p.m. tonight and going into the overnight. That could put a damper on some of that risk that we have expected tomorrow. We'll have to see how that plays out. Again, this is Nebraska for today's risk. This is the tornado outlook for Nebraska for today. This was updated at 11:30 a.m. And then we do have the wind risk. Again, this is all expected to be sometime after 6 p.m. tonight. And severe hail expected. This significant hatched area, North Platte, Ogallala, and Kearney, McCook, a lot of those areas. Now, here we go for Nebraska's risks for the latest information that was updated from the SPC at 12:33 p.m. As you see there up in the upper right-hand corner. Barely could see that, but slight risk for Columbus, Norfolk, Lincoln, Omaha. That's where there's still some iffy. It could end up being just a slight, or it could stay as an enhanced. You're right on the edge there. Uh, the latest information that came from the SPC did show that things kind of are moving a little bit, trending a little bit further north into like the Minnesota area, and we'll show you that as well here. But there's the risks for tornado risks for tomorrow. 5% in the brown, and green is the 2%. And then, of course, a hatched area that is over into areas of Iowa and Minnesota. The severe wind risk for tomorrow, right there. And look at that. A lot of hail expected in areas east of Columbus, Nebraska area for tomorrow. Monday's risk for Minnesota, we've got that 4 out of 5 risk. Significant uh, significant risk for tornadic activity. And speaking of which, let's look at that. We have a red zone, danger zone for areas of Minnesota. This is, again, this just got cut from this red zone, did go farther down into Iowa. Now they've pushed this further north, and now it is fully engulfing the Twin Cities area, Owatonna, Rochester, Albert Lea, and areas of Wisconsin. So just be mindful of that. There's that severe wind risk, and this again is showing how it's trending more of a north track. Just be mindful of that for areas that are in Wisconsin. This is a severe hail risk. You do have a pretty significant hail risk for tomorrow as well in areas of Minnesota. Now, what about South Dakota? South Dakota for today, you're expecting that slight or 2 out of 5 risk for areas of western and central part of South Dakota. That's going to be really super late, not until after 9 p.m. is what some of the latest models are suggesting. And part of that is due to all the cloud cover that's happening over there. Pierre area and points in south central South Dakota. I was talking about this a couple of days ago. Valentine, Nebraska looks like it's going to kind of get pretty ramped up in there. So that is a possibility for late tonight. We'll have to see how that plays out. Again, the wind risk is pretty significant as well. Not a hatched area, but still need to be watching out for that. Straight line winds definitely a probability in some of those. The hail risk is more isolated today for Nebraska area. You can see that hatched area, the dashed lines there. And then areas for tomorrow. Sioux Falls is now in the enhanced risk or a 3 out of 5 risk. Watertown, you are in the slight risk. But again, things could gimbal just a little bit. I do expect that you probably will end up being in that enhanced risk as this gets updated, as this again does seem to be trending more northward. So we'll have to see how that goes. Lake Andes, Mitchell area, winter, you're all in the slight risk for severe weather for tomorrow. That tornado risk. Again, Brown is the 5% to 9% risk, and Huron, you're in, as well as Sioux Falls, you're in the 2% risk. A low risk, but still a risk nonetheless. The wind threat for tomorrow, that does encompass Mitchell, Sioux Falls, Brookings, Watertown, many of those areas, and then the hail risk. You have a hatched area, Sioux Falls, you're smack dab in that hail risk. That is a moderate risk for hail. Um, so a 3 out of 5 risk for the hail. Mitchell, you're in the slight risk, so that would end up being a 2 out of 5 risk, but still pretty significant. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the weather models that we have related to what could end up happening. This is a look at 12K weather model. I am going to show you the 12K or the 12 or the 3K. Gosh, I can't get my words right. But the 3K weather model and show you just kind of a composite outlook here, composite reflective of the timing. Okay, as I stated before, storms don't really get initiated over in areas of Nebraska, western Nebraska, until sometime after 5 p.m. So this is like 6 p.m. We're looking at that. Areas of Lubbock and Odessa, kind of the same time frame. If we go to 5 p.m., there it is. Odessa, sometime after 5 p.m. These are in Central Daylight Time. Just be mindful of that. And up along here, over by Goodland, Ulysses, that's sometime after 5 p.m. North Platte, Alliance area sometime after 5 p.m. And it really gets a cooking really after 9 p.m. over in areas of Rapid City, folks, and western part of Nebraska. A lot of that, again, has to do with all the cloud cover, and it has to, the temperatures have to drop a little bit more to get closer to that risk of the dew points. And we do even see McCook area of south central part of Nebraska around 9 p.m. That could get some cooking going there, play on words. And areas east of Lubbock around 9 p.m. Take a look here, see if we see anything else. Most of that ends up being into areas of Pierre, South Dakota. Overnight hours, again, this is what could end up causing some issues with regards to um, that development that happens tomorrow, because if all this cloud cover can't move on out by, say, noontime tomorrow, South Dakota, you may not get a whole lot of anything. We'll have to see as far as severe weather goes. But looking at 5 a.m. for areas of Watertown, this right here suggests, let me draw that for you. Right here, this suggests a significant wind event happening uh, anywhere in that bow area, and that is around 4 a.m. Again, this is the latest information from NAM 3K. We do have some other weather models to take a look at as well. And then as we get into tomorrow, further into tomorrow, let me go ahead and show you kind of what it looks like around 7 a.m. You do have a pretty significant threat over here at 7 a.m. in western part of Wisconsin. And then we try to see things redevelop into areas of Iowa and even into South Dakota. I'm just showing you some of those northerly portions right now because we'll have more update tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time. But Watertown area, you could end up having a pretty significant hail threat north of Highway 14. And then areas like the Twin Cities area, uh, after 5 p.m., yeah, after 5 p.m., this latest information suggests that things really get ramped up. So between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m., it's really, really going to be pretty significant for those areas. Now, as this particular weather model suggests Rochester, it's going to be pretty late. Again, that's going to be somewhere around after 7 p.m. And then Ames, Iowa area, it's really struggling to pick up on that. Mason City probably would have a pretty significant storm right there south of Garner along highway or interstate I-35. If we span out here a little bit further and get some of Wisconsin in there, doesn't really show a whole lot going on for Omaha areas. I've got that in my viewer here. And as you could definitely tell, it's mainly going to show Rochester and some of that northerly portions of Iowa. Let me go ahead and take a look at the HRRR weather model, and I'll show you that, and then we're going to let you go. But that HRRR weather model just went through a scan, so I've got to wait for the 2 o'clock one to update here a little bit further. And as we look at the HRRR, that does suggest tonight, like I was saying, after 9 p.m., storms really getting initiated into western part of South Dakota areas. It doesn't even show Amarillo really getting much of anything. Let's go back to that. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be sometime after 6 p.m. So they're kind of agreeing, but it doesn't look as impressive as some of these storms that are farther to our north, like areas over by south of I-90 there. So HRRR is picking up on this pretty good. I would say there was definitely going to be some hail in some of these that are right south of I-90, and this is a look at potentially around 11 p.m., so around Kadoka area. Then it turns into pretty much a wind event as it gets into the overnight hours, so that could end up being pretty significant for you guys in that area. Even look at that curvature up north as it kind of moves along. This HRRR weather model is also showing that forcing on the back side of that. And again, if we take a look at some of the information here through HRRR, we're not out far enough to show you Minnesota and see the comparison, but Fargo, Fergus Falls, you guys are really along I-94 are going to really have impactful weather. I mean, possibility of some isolated tornadoes, in my opinion, overnight hours. Uh, early on. That's a look at 6 a.m. what it's looking like, and that's pretty significant for Fergus Falls and Fargo area. We can't go out any farther than that, so I think honestly, overnight hours, we're going to see most of your significant severe weather in the Fargo area, and then St. Cloud and Minneapolis. That's going to definitely be tomorrow. If the cloud cover can stay clear enough and help things get amplified. All right, that is the latest information from the 605 Chaser Studios. To all of my TikTok and Facebook and YouTube followers, I appreciate you so much, and I'm sorry that I can't always end up giving you every single live coverage of severe weather, family life, lots of things that are going on that I don't want to bore you with, but I got to figure out major balance between all of them. Plus, obviously, um, There's very limited budgeting. I don't ask people for money. It's great when you guys send gifts and things like that, and I very much appreciate it. But just wanted to make sure that you're aware that I do have a life outside of weather, so I do have to make sure that I keep mindful of that. And sometimes I get a little bit too involved with this weather. But it is just to inform you guys as best as I can and give you the latest information that I possibly can to keep you well informed. God bless, and as always, stay safe. We'll have another update at 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time tomorrow morning with more um, risky weather and more updates regarding that outlook. We'll also possibly be live tonight if storms don't get initiated way too late. I mean, if they're after 9 p.m., I'm not going to be going live because I've got kids that need to get their rest and I'm fairly loud. So you guys have a great rest of your evening and be safe.